Shalom. Shalom and welcome. This is Quick Words. Quick words, things to consider during end times. It is a message to those who seek to do the will of the Almighty Father Yahuah, and those who have come to accept Yahusha as Messiah and Mashiach. Today is April 14, 2014. If you're tuning in for the first time, my name is Symmanayah, and this message is specifically to those who I believe will be among the ranks of the 144,000 and multitude mentioned in Revelations chapter 7 and 14. This segment is entitled History and Culture of an Awakening Nation. History and Culture of an Awakening Nation. It will be a two-part series for the sake of time and listening on mobile devices. Again, this will be a two-part series. My brothers and sisters, allow me to state that it all began with righteousness. Wickedness came afterwards and has been with us since the event in the Garden of Eden. Allow me to also mention the history of a people that had righteous individuals and wicked individuals among them. Attempting to return to a style of dress and or language will not and does not make one more righteous than the other. There is no doubt who are the descendants of Abraham, Isaac or Isaac, and Jacob, also known as Jacob, whose name was changed to Yahusha, commonly known as Israel. But there is no doubt that we have had our heritage stripped from us, hidden from us for many years, and that too is changing. We have even witnessed attempts to promote our total obliteration, saying that Yahusha, true descendants of Abraham, do not exist, only spiritual Abraham. Who is man that think he has the authority to establish who belongs to what tribe? My brothers and sisters, this is known by the Most High, and we have not been obliterated. We have not been removed off the planet. True Yahusha exists. It is ironic how some can say that Yahusha no longer exists, but all other nationalities exist. This is wickedness and evil. Scientists have even joined the bandwagon along with other deceivers trying to introduce their DNA using cellular or molecular tagging to falsely identify the descendants of our forefathers with total disregard to the spirit of a man. But the truth will surface, and as the truth continues to surface, many will be amazed. All too often, as we come to discover the truth, we find brothers and sisters who become overzealous, overeager, presumptuous in their actions, as they began to try to determine what else was hidden from us. But what ends up happening is they find themselves overtaken with erroneous beliefs, teachings, and practices and behaviors that they believe are reflective of our history and our culture. But I submit to you, there is an awakening nation of true believers that consists of both Abari, which is also known as Hebrew, and Gentiles, which are also known as Goyim or other nations. A true awakening nation of the children of Yahuah are waking up. This segment, which is entitled History and Culture of an Awakening Nation, is to shed light on a group who seek to do the will of the Almighty Father and Creator Yahuah. A group that has accepted Yahusha as Messiah and Mashiach and know that no man can come to the Father except by the Son, Yahusha. The awakening nation that I reference here consists of both Abari, Hebrew, and Goyim, which mean other nations grafted together as one under the banner of Yahusha, commonly known as Israel. This is true Yahusha, my brothers and sisters, that is made one by Yahusha our Messiah. This awakening nation, it cannot be whole. Let me say again, it cannot be whole without descendants of Abraham, Isaac, or Isaac, and Jacob, which some know as Jacob, whose name was changed to Yahusha. This awakening nation cannot be whole if we totally disregard the descendants of our forefathers. Adding to these words, this awakening nation, it cannot be whole without the Goyim or Gentiles or other nations that are grafted into the body as one by Yahusha our Messiah. Yes, my brothers and sisters, many find this hard to swallow, hard to accept. But the true awakening nation is a nation made one by Yahusha our Messiah. And it is paramount that during these final hours, these end times, each of us come to realize those who seek to do the will of the Almighty Father Yahuah will be brought into unity. As we discover hidden truths, many have attempted to replicate what they believe is reflective of our history and culture. There's a widespread of individuals attempting to recapture the original language, with fragmented teachings at best reflecting ancient Hebrew, Paleo, modern, and various other types of what is perceived to be the original pure language. Yes, we are to come to know and embrace the true names of the Almighty Father Yahuah and Yahusha our Messiah, as well as come away from false pagan idol names and terms used in an attempt to hide the Almighty Father's name and our Messiah's name. We are to come away from that. But on the matter of attempting to restore what was lost, it was not language that brought on wickedness. Evil originated out of rebellion and disobedience, period. Remember, we once had a single language, and we attempted to make a name for ourselves by building a tower to the heavens, a story that has been commonly known as the Tower of Babel. So you see, my brothers and sisters, it is not having one language that ensures righteousness. It is having a heart to worship and obey. Wickedness existed then, and it exists today. Allow me to read the following. 1 Corinthians 14th chapter, verses 12 through 28 reads, So also you, since you are ardent for spiritual gifts, seek to excel in the upbuilding of the assembly. Therefore he who is speaking in a tongue, let him pray that he might interpret. For if I am praying in a tongue, my spirit is praying, but my understanding is without fruit. What then is it? I shall pray with the spirit, and I shall also pray with the understanding. I shall sing with the spirit, I shall also sing with the understanding. Otherwise, if you bless with the spirit, how shall he who fills up the place of the unlearned say, Amen, at your giving of thanks, since he does not know what you say? For you truly give thanks well, but the other is not built up. I thank my Elohim, I speak with tongues more than you all. But in assembly I wish to speak 5 words with my understanding, that I might instruct others also. Then 10,000 words in a tongue. Brothers, do not be children in your thinking, but in evil be babes, and in your thinking be perfect. In the Torah it has been written, with men of other tongues and other lips I shall speak to this people, and even so they shall not hear me, says Yahuah. So the tongues are for a sign, not to those who believe, but to unbelievers, and prophesying is not for unbelievers, but for those who believe. If then all the assembly comes together in one place, and all speak with tongues, and there come in those who are unlearned and unbelievers, shall they not say that you are mad? But if all prophesy, and an unbeliever or an unlearned one comes in, he is reproved by all, he is discerned by all. And so the secrets of his heart are revealed, and so, falling down on his face, he shall worship Elohim, declaring Elohim is truly among you. What then is it, brothers? Whenever you come together, each one has a psalm, has a teaching, has a tongue, has a revelation, has an interpretation. Let all be done for upbuilding. If anyone speaks in a tongue, let there be 2 or more, at the most 3, each in turn, and let one interpret. And if there is no interpreter, let him be silent in an assembly, and let him speak to himself and to Elohim. My brothers and sisters, there are many who has placed this rendering of passage to only mean and address the issue of babbling or wrangling of individuals. But I submit to you, this refers to any language, whether coherent or incoherent, whether It can be labeled by man or not. This is any language, any sound that is coming out of our mouth to convey a message. Unless there is an interpreter, it is all for naught. My brothers and sisters, in other words, even if one goes to the extent of speaking in what they perceive to be a Hebrew dialogue without anyone to interpret it righteously, then it would be wicked and erroneously. It has the possibility of being wicked and erroneous. For what profit can it be, or how can it produce anything if no one knows what is being said? Something else, my brothers and sisters, I have seen those who claim to know and or teach Hebrew. Not all of them, but some who fail to admit even in the Abari or Hebrew language terms are subjective. I submit to you that any writing, if there is wisdom to be present, we must lean on the Spirit of Yahusha to make that writing alive. Remember, the letter kills, but it's the Spirit that makes alive. Consider the example when those who were, during the days of our Messiah, trying to tell him about the Shabbat, and he reproved them, letting them know that Shabbat was made for man, not man for Shabbat. I will pause here for part 1 for the sake of time and pick up in a moment. Keep in mind history and culture of an awakening nation. This is part 1, and we will continue, so stay tuned for part 2. Shalom, shalom, shalom.